Hey everyone, it's Steve from stevezanella.com. How are you today? So hey, I just wanted to come on here real quick and do a video and put this out there because if you're like me and you struggle with anxiety and panic attacks and things like that, everything that's going on currently with the coronavirus, not just in the United States but globally, can be very challenging for a lot of us, including myself. So I kind of just wanted to pop on here real quick and make a very quick video about how you might be able to manage some of your anxiety that is kind of coming up around something like this, and really just kind of talk a little bit about it, what I'm going through, some of the things that I'm doing, because I think it's important that in times like this that we reach out and connect with each other so that we don't feel so alone and isolated, especially when so much of the news and social media is focused on a lot of the negatives that are going along with it. So I just want to share a few things. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor and this isn't about how to avoid it, but just kind of looking up, doing a little research on my own. What a lot of people are recommending is they're recommending washing your hands. They're recommending good etiquette if you're sneezing or coughing to limit your exposure to other people, to try to stay home. They're referring to social distancing, try not to be in large groups, don't go to large events. There's a lot of what some would deem sort of common sense when it comes to this type of virus. It spreads very easily from what a lot of people are saying. But all of those, I think it's important that we understand and that we act accordingly. I think trying to limit everyone's exposure to something like this is really going to be critical in being able to manage and control it, and the spread of it. That's the big thing. But what I want to talk about specifically are three things that I think everyone who struggle with anxiety and fear, and just people in general, in regards to something like this happening, what can they do? Three things that they can do to help manage some of that fear and anxiety that they might be feeling. So the first one is limiting your exposure to the news and social media. I don't recommend that you completely shut off all news and close out the outside world. I think it can be far worse if you don't know what's going on, but I don't agree with people who think that you should be so informed that you are consumed with it 24/7, where especially in today's world where social media and 24/7 news channels are on all the time, it can be very overwhelming for people. So my suggestion is to select a time of the day where you're going to kind of log in and you're going to see what's going on. You're going to get yourself updated, whether it be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, and then shut it off and then step away from it. Get all the news that you need so that you're current and you understand what's going on in the world, but then turn it off, because if you stay on it, if you stay engaged, it's just going to continue to elevate those anxious feelings and that fear. It's not doing you any good to continue to sort of wallow in the fear that is being produced by constantly monitoring all of these channels that are talking about everything that's going on. So don't completely block yourself off from the news and the information of the world, but give yourself a certain amount of time. Say, between 4 and 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to log in, or between 6 and 7. What I would recommend is don't do it first thing in the morning and don't do it late in the evening. Give yourself a little bit of that buffer time when you wake up in the morning and a little bit of buffer when you're ready to go to bed at night, so that you're not thinking too much about this as you're trying to either start your day or end it. The second one is to be proactive in the things that you do. If you happen to be someone who's self-quarantining or someone who's staying at home a lot more, be proactive in doing some things around your house or your apartment, where you live. Work on some projects, read a book, catch up on some TV shows. Try to do some things that are going to keep your mind occupied with things other than the fact that I can't go out and do this, or I'm worried that I might get sick, or someone that I care about is going to get sick. Keep your mind busy, because we all know that if you don't control where your thoughts are and what you're doing with them, they're going to tend to sort of gravitate towards more negative type thinking and compulsive type thinking. So remember to keep feeding your mind with things that are going to keep it not necessarily distracted, but focused on things that are more positive and things that you're going to enjoy a lot more. And then finally, and this one might sound a little bit strange, and I know I wanted to keep this short, and so I want to kind of wrap this up. But I want you to allow some of this fear in. Allowing yourself the time to accept the fear that you're feeling is important to this process, because if you try to convince yourself you shouldn't be afraid, in light of all of the evidence, there's probably something to be concerned about, and that's okay to feel that concern. That concern is going to make us act in better ways. That's going to keep us safer. It's going to protect us and protect our loved ones. And allowing yourself the concern, a little of that anxiety, a little of that fear in, without judging yourself for it, without beating yourself up or thinking that you're doing something wrong, where then there's a sort of a negative self-image that then gets compounded with the fear that you're already feeling. Part of this whole process is caring for yourself, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And it's okay to be afraid. Allow some of that fear in, recognize it, and honor it within yourself, that it's okay at this time with everything going on to be a little fearful of what's going on. And don't beat yourself up over the fact that you're anxious about this moment in history. I think it's natural and normal to have some fear and anxiety around this. But do so in a way that you're not going to be overly judgmental of yourself. Don't beat yourself up because things are a little scary out there. Because I think everyone who's paying attention and seeing what's going on is having a little bit of anxiety and fear about it. I know that I am, and my initial reaction to it was to sort of, I don't want to get too panicked. I don't want to overreact. I don't want to become so fearful. But in doing that, it created so much resistance in myself. And then I started kind of beating myself up over the fact that I was getting anxious. And, I had to accept that. I had to say, you know what? It's okay to be a little afraid, be a little concerned right now. It's normal and natural for me to be feeling that. And it's normal and natural for you to be feeling that as well. So give yourself some permission to accept some of that fear and not resist it with so much force in your life. All right, so that's it for me. I am, I'm keeping every single person out there in my thoughts and prayers and putting as much loving energy as I can out into the world right now. I think moments like this can act as a catalyst to remind us that we are all human beings. We are all subject to the same physical limitations and diseases and tragedies and the same joys and the same excitement, and we're all in this together. And we spend so much time bickering back and forth about politics and religion and culture and all of these different things. And sometimes, when things like this happen, I think it can be used as a good reminder that we are all human beings and our time here together is limited, and we really need to start looking out for each other and create a loving community of peace and compassion, and try to find the positive in things that happen like this. And maybe this will be something that comes of it, that maybe this will be a catalyst to start us thinking a little more globally as a brothers and sisters, as opposed to people who are at odds with each other. And I hope this video helps. If you have anything that you're doing that's making you feel a little bit better, do me a favor. Share it in the comments section below so that other people who come across this video, who are looking for some help and some guidance in managing how they feel with all of this, maybe something you say in the comment section will help them out as well. Let's really lean on each other in these times. So that's it for me. Until we talk again, and we will talk again, I hope you have an amazing day.